Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Thank you so much for asking. Just going through right now, bro. Family took a loss last week. Lost a dear family member, essentially like my dad, father figure, Lewis Blake. So definitely want to dedicate this to him. Rest in peace. So again, he was going through some health stuff. So at least I get peace knowing that he's in a better place. The funeral is going to probably be next week at some point, so I'll keep you updated with that. But besides that, man, enjoying life, which I know he would have wanted me to do. Had Valentine's Day yesterday, took it easy. But how about yourself, man? How was Hawaii? The pictures look great. The moment I saw your first dish with food, I was like, oh, there he goes. This guy's going to get his back to it. So how was the Hawaii trip?
Yeah, for sure. And of course, more formally, rest in peace to your father, and condolences to you and the family. Obviously, love you. And I know you're a strong person, so have faith in you and in the future. But the trip itself was good. I think what was surprising was how insanely windy it was. It was, I don't know, the whole time I was thinking, like, I wonder, is Florida get like this during hurricane season or something? Because that shit was crazy. Like the amount of sand that would smack you in the face at the beach. Like we avoided eating at the beach just because we'd be eating a bag full of sand if we were to do that.
Did
and it was
they
cold.
Force you guys to then change up like whatever itinerary you had?
In a way it did. So we like kind of avoided going to the beach as often, like if it was too windy, or we had to kind of figure out what time of day we were gonna go out and eat. If it was too crazy, like we would just stay in and work instead, and shit like that, because it was just nuts and a lot colder than we had anticipated as well. So wearing shorts in a tank wasn't like enough past a certain hour, which is crazy to think about because Hawaii is generally a pretty humid place. But
and I feel like I asked you this, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Is this the same time of the year you guys always go anyways? So like, was this a complete shock or okay?
So that's the thing. This is the first time we had ever gone in February, which I think just because the winter is generally colder, and I think the tide is higher too. Because we normally go Labor Day weekend, and it's always been perfect around that time. First world problems, but speaking about it like it was.
I showed up to paradise and it was windy. Fuck this.
Right? But I think for me the food is usually the highlight, and then this one beach we go to, which is called Waimea Bay, because it's less packed. It's far away but less packed. And I definitely gained a lot of weight because we drank and ate good for several days in a row.
And you really weren't able to walk around and shit, right?
Not really. And even the walking we did do wasn't a whole lot. So we would have had to walk miles upon miles to burn the kind of food we eat out there, which is a lot of Spam and like gravy and rice and everything. Overall it was fun. I mean, I had to work a lot of it. Both of us did, but
okay. I think you guys took PTO, but you mentioned you being a little bit more selective this year about that. Yeah, because
PTO's scarce and we got like weddings and stuff, so I'd rather save it for that. But good little quick getaway. Everyone in the world everyone from the Bay must have seen the same deal, because our driver mentioned that like everyone from San Francisco and Oakland was there, and then on top of that, everyone else was Korean. We heard Korean left and right, so there must have been some sort of like deal that took place for this month. I don't know why.
So
maybe
funny.
It's less popular, but it was like the same group of people everywhere.
Is there like a night scene or like you guys would enjoy, or is it really just like you guys just walking around or going like restaurant hopping or something?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because our last night was when we went out. I kind of pressured my wife too, just because I was like, why not? We hang out at the beach all the day. Like, I kind of want to just go and hear some hip hop and drink.
Sure.
We ran into this dope couple from Australia, who we kicked it with pretty much the whole night.
Nice.
Which was nice too, because they like proactively came up to us and were like, hey, like, where are you guys from? Blah, blah, blah. And coincidentally, Australia is part of our one of our legs in the trip for the upcoming wedding in a few months. So
Oh, nice.
we're actually going to kick it with that couple for a night or two, maybe more, when we go out there.
Very nice. Nice. But the night scene was cool though?
Yeah, that club was pretty much the only hip hop spot in the area. But it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't packed. It wasn't ratchet. Like the playlist was really good. Drinks were super pricey, but
yeah, but I feel like that's like almost like an expected with like Hawaii. And I mean, I've never been to New Zealand either, but I heard like those parts that are just so far from a mainland, like it's almost like, it is what it is.
Yeah. And I ran
what's
into
crazy is though, how do locals afford it though? Because I'm assuming they have like regular ass jobs. Like how do they that part is always like baffles me.
That actually ties into what I was gonna say. It's interesting you brought it up, but that's still a mystery to me. I don't really know. I know most people are kind of in like the hospitality industry, like they work at the hotel or the restaurant. That's like the most common job. But if I had to imagine they live, on the outskirts and probably room with several people, I feel like that's how they kind of make it work. And I actually ran into these black dudes from New York at the hookah spot. And he had said that they moved here moved there 10 months ago. He's like, I never looked back. He's wow. He claims there's a ton of jobs. He said for people that look like us, obviously meaning black folks. And he's like, yeah, you can work security anywhere and get paid $20 an hour.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how that translates to pricing out there.
Cost of living. Yeah.
But he made it seem like it was a no-brainer. Like he left New York and never came back.
Nice. I mean, good for him. Yeah. But those things like always throw me off because I have a buddy of mine who like him and his wife quit their job and like just went to New Zealand for 6 months and like work on the vineyard. But then he's telling me that fucking like a carton of milk is like $14. So I'm like, bro, like how does so what'd you eat, bro? Like how does this work? So like that shit like that, like again, I feel like I don't have like that much of like an economic like macro understanding of how like these different parts of the world work. It's like, like dude, like you would think like a trip like that for you and your wife was essentially pretty expensive on a day-to-day basis. So it's like the fuck they eat like what, coal? Like what are they eating?
And what's crazy is like after like our second or third trip to Hawaii, we like everyone does when they go somewhere they love, they look at like housing prices and stuff to see if they could realistically have a vacation home or just move there. And we saw some beautiful spots. The mortgage listed was like $1,200, $2,000. And we're like, shit, let's move tomorrow. But what we didn't see is in the fine print, the HOA fees like $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't know why, but that's definitely where the fees come in if you actually want to live
That's
there.
Interesting. That's it. Yeah, I never wondered that too, because I don't know if they have HOAs like in Italy, but like I remember like there was this place in Italy when we pulled up on the boat, like it was like the most like IG pictured spot in this place, and he was like, yeah, like that house costs like 700,000. And I'm like, really? Like, bro, like you would think this would be like in the millions. They're like, no, it's like 700,000. I mean, which is obviously nothing to poo-poo at. But like, again, dude, if this is like a high destination for every tourist from the world, you would think it's like in the millions. So yeah, it's crazy how like pricing on like mainland America is just so out of whack, especially like where we live. Like, the coast is just like crazy. But dude, glad you had a great time, man. Before we get into this episode, I wanted to ask, how's the feedback been on the latest Blair Anthony single, Reload?
It's been great. Honestly, this is probably the happiest I've been with the release.
Nice.
And a lot of it was unexpected too, because the whole like animated video I did was unintentional. Well
received though. You got like did you get like the engagement you were looking for?
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of positive comments, a lot of new followers and subscribers who I wasn't able to tap into, I guess because this was more short content friendly and engaging than me just posting like the song art. Like people don't really care about that as much. I did see some, in a live stream, I did submit my song and I did see some, I'll call it haterish comments, basically calling the song generic or this is corny or basic. And at first I was a little confused just because I thought this target audience would like this kind of song.
Sure.
But similar to our conversation with Johan, like I had to remind myself this is probably like a 12-year-old who is obsessed with like Playboy Cardi or something.
Sure.
And anything that isn't about lean and perks is corny or
Sure.
generic. So I had to remind myself that, but the love definitely outweighed.
Because on that same
hateful
live
comments.
stream, like the guy doing it picked your song like
Yeah,
the top 3,
which was
right?
like ironic.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, shit, I really have to like not pay attention to these losers who claim that, you know, the song, like I'm not talented or whatever, because for every song there's going to be fans. And I got a lot of appreciation from people I know, like you and my brothers, to random people on the internet who now have subscribed just from the clips I posted. So definitely a motivational moment with this release.
Awesome. And are there already plans with the next song, or are you just kind of waiting to be inspired by like a beat that comes your way or you come across?
Last night I just wrapped up the lyrics for a new one I'm working on, so hopefully I'm happy with how I actually sound when I lay it out, because I have a tendency to throw shit away if I don't like it. But
okay,
I'm feeling 90% confident with this one.
Okay, very nice, dude. Awesome. Well, go peep that on every single platform. Also go peep last week's episode 130. Have it up behind me, but episode 131, let's get to it. I feel like the biggest thing coming into this week, so it might be a little bit light as far as topics, but the biggest thing was Rihanna's performance at the halftime show. Immediately, so context, Blair was traveling during the performance, so like, just like walk me through like when you first, I don't want to give my insight, when you first like either saw the highlights or saw the comments on like social, like what was your first reaction to it?
Yeah, so I landed, didn't even care who won the Super Bowl. I just immediately was like, all right, I gotta see what the reactions to the
were people on the flight like all on their phones though watching the game, because that's a weird time. Like, bro, I'm telling you, if I had a flight on the day of the Super Bowl, I'm either changing my flight or making sure I have Wi-Fi on that bitch.
Yeah, at that point it was way too late for us to change it, and my wife 100%.
You don't care that much either way. So
I don't care that much either way. It's more of, I like the Super Bowl to meet up with friends and shoot the shit and drink beer and stuff. But I landed and you had sent me a text with your reaction. So I went to YouTube immediately. I went to Instagram first just to see if there were any viral moments that were just flooding my timeline.
Sure.
Didn't really see much. So I went to YouTube and saw the comments, and I'd say the vast majority of them, and I believe this was on the NFL official page, the vast majority of the comments were in support of her performance, but like saying, hey, like she did a great job for being pregnant and blah, blah, blah for a pregnant woman. So I'm like, what does this mean necessarily? So check the video, and from start to finish, I'm like waiting for something terrible to happen in terms of like, you know, her forgetting the words, her being completely out of pitch, or her falling or something. But I would have to say I was pleasantly surprised by her performance. I do admit that I think compared to previous Super Bowl performances, it was a bit underwhelming. I definitely don't think it was terrible or awful like a lot of people were saying. I guess the overused term mid might be accurate if you're comparing it to like last year or something, but nothing within the performance made me say like, oh wow, she really didn't, you know, meet expectations with what we would expect from Rihanna. I think last year's performance and older performances, the production and amount of superstars, it was just so overwhelming to the point that I think it's hard to compare her to that, and the onus doesn't really fall on her. It's more so, you know, she couldn't have Kanye up there for obvious reasons. I don't think Jay-Z or anyone else would have necessarily gone up either. So all in all, I think she did a great job. Pretty much impossible to compete with a star-studded lineup like Snoop, Eminem, Kendrick, etc. from last year. And I don't know. I think she did her thing and just isn't the kind of performer that a Beyonce or Chris Brown is. So I think people should give her more credit than she has gotten.
Got it. Yeah, because the vast majority as well of the comments I saw, and even like on like the Monday morning Zoom at work, everyone was like, bro, like, come on, she was pregnant. Like, and what would you've never been pregnant. To be up there at 5-6 months doing that is insane. Blah, 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 blah. Bro, this is my issue. This is what I when I texted you, my sentiments. Bro, it's the Super Bowl, bro. So at the end of the day, like, I'm here to be entertained, right? I understand it's a free show, but people only watch this shit for the entertainment factor of it. And dude, like, it was just, and she sounded, I'll tell you that, no, she sounded amazing, right? But bro, you should sound amazing when you're one of the most famous pop singers in the world, and you're literally not doing anything but standing. You know what I mean? Like, you should sound fucking phenomenal. And then what made it worse for me, bro, is like the attempts to do some kind of body movement, bro. And just standing. I was like, bro, like, what are we doing? That's my own thing, bro. Like, I just wish, bro, like, we could have got Rihanna at, like, I don't know, 1 month pregnant or not pregnant at all. And people are saying, like, yo, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. No, the fuck it's not, bro. It's Rihanna. She can do the Super Bowl whenever the fuck she wants to do the Super Bowl. And like, other people are saying, no, but dude, if the NFL would have removed her because she was pregnant, what does that say in this society about not letting women work? And I'm just like, bro, like, get out of here with this, man. Like, I just want to be entertained. Like, that gig is the person dancing. Like, it's a full, like my thing is, like, there's no way you're telling me if you saw Rihanna perform a year ago, all her hits the same way, that you're getting the same level of enthusiasm from her. Bro, that's all I'm saying. Like, we didn't get the best version of her. Yeah. And it's the Super Bowl. It's the biggest fucking platform in the world for this setting. You need to have the best version of it. Like, yes, was it great for a woman who's pregnant? Absolutely. Did she sound amazing? Great. But was it a good overall performance? Like, that's why I was like, no, dude, like, this is not what I wanted to see. Like, yo, dead ass. Like, I was craving, behind this, like, Gina, not like my fiance and I made like burgers and we had drinks. It was a vibe at the house, but I was craving like a fucking Coca-Cola. Like, I don't know why. Bro, I was so bored with that fucking performance. I drove to the gas station and came to Pepsi. Exactly. I drove to the gas station and left. She's like, you're leaving? I'm like, yeah, dude, this is a waste of our fucking time. And like, and this is, dude, I'm not exaggerating, bro. Like, I felt that harsh about it. I was like, bro, like, I get what we're trying to do here. Good for her to have this to do this and tell her son or daughter, hey, I performed at Super Bowl with you inside of me. But bro, come on, man. Like, as far as an entertainment factor, this shit was nowhere near what we were expecting or wanted. Yeah. Like, and I feel like it's okay to say that, dude. Like, it's not okay to say that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think my pushback was the word terrible seemed a bit of a stretch to me, because I think a terrible performance is like, she sounds so many awful. Other things went wrong. Like, she wasn't literally off the fucking stage. Yeah. And so if you had said, oh, the performance was average, like it was forgettable or something, and I watched it, I'll be like, all right, I see what he's saying.
I got you. It was definitely forgettable for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if this was 2012 or something, I think my attitude towards it would be different. I'll admit I do have bias because I love Rihanna's hits and her music.
Dude, so many hits, bro.
Mm-hmm. And people were just honestly happy to see her because she's been MIA, similar to like a Kendrick or whoever else has been MIA. You know, that makes up for, that gives her a lot of leeway to put in less effort.
Yeah, but dude, I feel like you can't be, dude, at the Super Bowl, bro. I need your best self,
right,
bro.
Like, and I don't know who's. No, continue.
Go. No, that's it. I would say, like, you need to be at your best, bro. Like, these literally are the best athletes performing at the highest level. Like, the halftime show that's going to be fucking 40 minutes long needs to be the absolute best version of whatever artist, bro. Like, Maroon 5, Bruno Mars, Travis Scott. Everyone who does that shit knows that, bro, this has to be the best show of my life. And I don't think there's any fucking way that Rihanna looked in the mirror that night and was like, yep, this is I've never done a show better than this. Like, get that, dude, that never happened.
I feel like, I mean, maybe she does, because I feel like if you perform at the Super Bowl, like, naturally your ego's gonna be through the roof. You're like, shit, I crushed it. But I think in terms of where I felt it fell short is I mean, we're used to variety during these shows. So I think a lot of people have an opportunity usually to see, like, if it's Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson or whoever, like, people get to choose their favorite superhero they see. Whereas this was just, if you weren't a Rihanna fan or like a fan of her music, you're probably bored out of your mind. And I think to spice it up, whoever was in charge of the set design could have like changed it a bit more, because I think it was just like the white coat people running around, her in the red suit, and then like the platforms moving around, but like there wasn't really much else beyond that. So I think that change
on top
alone,
of her not moving.
Yeah, not moving. But if they're like, all right, you're pregnant, you can't move, at least change the shit behind her and stuff, to do something.
Yeah, because I think I brought up that I thought she might bring out Calvin Harris. Like, there might be some guest appearances as opposed to the guest appearance being her unborn child. Like, bro, like, like, okay, dude. Like, how is that meant to be entertaining? But the funniest thing is, like, the live reaction by most people, where I know you saw online, like, because she's opened the performance by rubbing her stomach. So I'm like, is this bitch pregnant? Like that's like the first like 2 minutes of this whole thing. She just had
a bunch of wings.
Bro, but it was hard to tell from certain angles. Like, I'm like, yo, why is she just rubbing her stomach, kind of a thing? Because all we think of, dude, like, in my mind, you were just pregnant 3 months ago.
That's why I was confused too. I'm like, is it the same baby?
Yeah, we were talking about it'd be dope if ASAP came on stage with her to do something together, like maybe Fashion Killer, and she's just like walking by something, dude. But I don't know, man. Obviously, she had the last laugh. The numbers are in. Dude, according to Nielsen, I guess 111 million people watched the game and like 118 million people tuned in just for the halftime show. Wow. So like an extra 7 million just for her. And apparently all her songs are like 300% up in streams on every single streaming platform. So she clearly won, bro. So I'm happy for her. Because again, I think we both made it clear we're both Rihanna fans. But as a Rihanna fan, I'm like, bro, if I waited 7 years for this, I wanted the best version of you, not this. Like, it felt I get why it was watered down. But I'm like, if it's going to be watered down, then why not just say, hey guys, I got pregnant. Life happens. I'm going to enjoy being a mom. I'm going to come back in 2025 and try it again. But I don't know, bro. I feel like that. Because, bro, I know they could have got any fucking artist they want to do that show with like 4 months notice, bro. So, so that was all, bro. I was just like, come on, man. This could have been way more entertaining, but it is what it is.
And the whole time I was like, yeah, the performance arguably could have been better. But I thought to myself, I still, during those moments, very much and firm on my belief that Rihanna's hits are better than Beyonce's hits.
I think so too, bro.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Which I think it's like almost like blasphemous to say, like, I think her going away, I think we said this before for sure, but like, I think we appreciate her hits more, right? Because we haven't been bombarded with her stuff all the time. And then Beyonce's fans, the beehives or whatever, are so aggressive that it's almost like, how dare you ever compare someone to her? But dude, I agree with that, bro. And I think that's like, they're also like, people kind of think that maybe she was fucking Jay-Z at some point too. So like, there's always like that drama. Yeah. So people just hate any kind of comparison. I think Stephen A. Smith from ESPN got destroyed for comparing the two. But yeah, no, I would agree, bro. I would say, I think Rihanna has way more hits, way more songs I would want on my wedding playlist, for example, to vibe to. But I do think Beyonce puts on a better show.
Like 1,000%. And she's a better singer, way better dancer.
Way better dancer. Like, to your point earlier, like, I don't even remember if Rihanna is a dancer.
Yeah, same.
Bro, like, it had to be better than that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she did a couple like smooth moves, but it was, to your point, it was like she was just in one position and all the white coat people did the bulk of the dancing.
Did you hear any of the TikTok conspiracy theories about like what the white people and like it all meant?
Like, no.
So there was a theory that because like it was like the show was about her like pregnant, right? Like that was the theme, that all the white people were like the sperm coming to like the womb.
Oh, I was thinking that could be potentially the theory, but that's extreme.
That's extreme, bro. That's extreme. But again, I thought her being pregnant there was pretty extreme. So like,
I think so now that I think about it, my wife had mentioned someone wore a red dress to our wedding and said that apparently is unacceptable because it draws a lot of attention. So I wonder if it was just like a simple contrast thing. Like the red obviously stands out in a crowd of white coats. So could have been as simple as that.
Yeah, it could have been as simple as that for sure. I'm sure it was as simple as that. But, people, again, we didn't have any dancing to critique. So people just looking for other things to bring up. But yeah, overall, did you, and you didn't give a fuck who won the game, right?
No, like I still had to remind myself it was Kansas City Chiefs who won, right?
Yeah. It was a good game, dude. Probably one of the best Super Bowl games that there's been in a minute. So, but it's all good. That's neither here nor there. So speaking of the Super Bowl, though, we've had some decent halftime shows. Again, people, again, you said you enjoyed it. I was like, all right, it was mid to me. Last year was crazy, right? Not Jay-Z, sorry. 50 Cent, Eminem, Kendrick, led by Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg. The year before was The Weeknd, which is like the most meme Super Bowl ever. And then we've had Travis over the years, Maroon 5, J-Lo, Shakira, again, you name it. So who would your dream, like if you had to pick the person for 2024, who would be your dream performer or performers for the Super Bowl?
I'd have to say Kanye or Ye. Despite all the controversy, I think he's just a mastermind when it comes to curating an experience. I feel like musically, at least, like he's one of the most universally loved and respected artists that can just get everyone on the same frequency. So I think he would just be a super powerful performer. And on top of that, his music for the longest time has been so just meaningful and impactful, so it's not even
well received, bro. Like it's really hard to ever think about a Kanye album or song that you're like, nah, like his shit's for the masses. Like even though it's like obviously curated for whatever certain sound,
right? And it's tastefully woke. It doesn't feel preachy. It just sounds good, and I think he would just be a perfect person to entertain, which I agree is the purpose of this 15-minute segment or however long it is.
Oh, that's just long, bro. That's just like 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, because the joke about it is because like this is the biggest football game of the year for these players, and on a normal like Sunday game, halftime is like 10 minutes, bro. So now you're getting these guys resting for like 30, 45 minutes. Is like, bro, like what the fuck's going on? So, but okay, so before I give my answer and who I think, what do you think would have to happen pre that ever happening though? Like what would Kanye have to do to be even allowed on that stage? Because obviously Kanye today or Ye today is never getting that invite. You know what I mean? Right. So what would need to happen?
I think he would have to issue a public and sincere apology to the Jewish community. And on top of that, I think he would also have to put his money where his mouth is and do something like, I don't know if it's donating to Holocaust survivors or whatever, but I think he's gonna really have to prove to that community that his word is bond and he means what he says. And only at that point do I think there's a chance of him redeeming himself and getting the forgiveness, because like he crossed the line that many people can't come back from.
Yeah, I would agree with that, bro. And it would have to take some big people in entertainment and the Jewish community, and probably an overlapping of that, to put their arm around him and be like, we forgive you, kind of a thing, right? Because it'd be one thing if he does it, but if people are like, dude, no, kind of a thing, right? Like I think it needs to be if he needs to do the apology, and then someone big enough in that community needs to put their arm around him and say, we forgive you. And it can't be Drake, because he doesn't count. Dude, for me, and funny, people might think I would say Drake, but I don't. I don't think his style of music will do well in that setting, right? Because it's very like, I don't know, man, very conversational hits. You know what I mean? Like the hits are like shit that you and I want to fucking either go to the club to and rage, or like really just get high to and be like, yeah, man, I feel this pain. Like for 35 to 45 minutes, like I don't think he would be able to grasp that audience. Now I'll go to a 3-hour Drake set gladly, But I'm talking about for a mass 118 million people. I don't think they're going to be fully entertained. Dude, so for me, man, I think it would have to be a group of performers, bro. Like almost like some like mini version of what they did at the Grammys with like 50 years of hip hop kind of a thing. But like stars though, bro. So I'm thinking like Future, Jay, and like Little Uzi. Like some kind of combination of the three of them. Because I feel that hits like mass appeal, hip hop heads are gonna go crazy. And like the white guy or whoever, like the older people who want to be cool are going to be like, oh my God, what is this? It sounds amazing kind of a thing. So I think, again, I know that those three people sound crazy together, but I don't think it's that far-fetched, right? Because I think Jay and Future are cool, right? Uzi signed to Rock Nation. Uzi's cool with like Future. So like if it was like Uzi opening up for Future, Future opening up for Jay, and then Jay just fucking closing it, and then he had like a random song with Beyonce dropped in and some shit. Like that, I think would be a wild Super Bowl to fucking take it.
That's an interesting combination. I like that idea. Did Post Malone ever perform? I forget. I don't know if I'm
Post Malone has never performed yet, bro. Okay. And dude, have you seen the videos of him like people saying like he's like losing his mind as he shows?
I've heard about the losing his mind, but I feel like he's always kind of like been overly dramatic with his facial expressions and stuff.
Same. Those are my thoughts, bro. I was like, bro, I've seen him 3 times now, and every time he does fall apart, like, yo, he looks like he's falling apart. Like that's listen to the fucking lyrics.
Point of the song, yeah.
But yeah, because like there was something like him like on the floor and singing. I'm like, shouldn't we be happy? He still sounds amazing, and he's like on the floor, like
and healthy looking too.
Correct. Like that's weird, bro. When people start losing weight, people's like ears always antennas go up, but. I always focus on the head. Like his head still looks the same. So I don't think this. I think this is like purposeful weight loss as opposed to like he might be sick. So Post Malone's a great one, bro, because that's one that I think everyone can get behind. I don't know. You think he has enough hits though to support a full 45-minute set, or that would have to be like a joint thing?
No, I was thinking joint because I like similar to the Uzi, Future, Jay-Z. I was wondering maybe. In place of Uzi, Post Malone would be there, and he would kind of tap into the more rock side of things, maybe appeal more to the white crowd who's kind of nervous about hip hop and shit like that.
Dude, but I get it, because at the end of the day, like you have to know your audience, bro. Like, dude, if 118 million people are watching, half are black, half are white. These are just facts. Yeah. So like, it can't just be only hip hop, every year or some shit.
Yeah, and Post Malone has some like rock hip hop fusion friendly hits from like I think his last album and the one before that, and like Circles and all that stuff like could do well, I think.
And he also, just from seeing him live, he also has this thing where he'll do like he'll do a couple like great acoustic covers that can still get the energy going in a fun way. So Post Malone's a good one, man. But I would think if it's Post Malone, it would have to just be, he would have to be the headliner. And then like some like popular female singer opening up for him, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Because I just can't see like how Post Malone, like say a Future, like once you get to Post Malone status, like that name is still so big. Yeah. Like I don't know how many, headliners can coexist. Kind of thing.
Doja Cat, like it seems like that's a great one. Every girl loves Doja Cat. I know a lot of dudes love Doja Cat. I love her music. She looks great. I feel like she would. Bro,
that's a great one. That's a great one. Honestly, bro, I would say Audio Theory's vote would be that. Doja and Post Malone. Because I feel like that's the most realistic of what we both just said. Yeah. Like, and they have a couple songs together, at least one together that they could do. Yeah, bro, that's probably the most realistic that would happen the next 2 years. Like, those two, I'm sure they'll have other guests pop up, but as far as like the headliner on like the Super Bowl, it'll be those two.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and to do that, I agree with you. Have you seen her live yet?
I've seen snippets of her live, and she seems like a crazy dope performer.
Bro, I saw her at Coachella, and she did like a 60 or maybe like a 45 minute set, I would say, to be safe. Bro, nonstop hits, like, and dancing.
Yep.
Like, yeah, she is putting on a fucking show, bro. Like, back and forth rapport with the audience. goofy fucking faces, outfit changes, but dancing and singing her ass off, bro. And I don't even know if she has any sad songs, but bro, this is nonstop bangers, bro. Like songs that were on the Billboard charts for weeks, if not months. So yeah, that's a good one, bro, because I think that's a good balance of honestly everything you can want. Black, white, hip hop, R&B, pop, like it's everything, right? Because I mean, we would say she's not a hip hop head, but I think maybe like white people do think she's like a hip hop artist or whatever. So I think that's a good one. So yeah, honestly, I'll be disappointed if it's not that.
I know I'm actually like really excited to see what that would be like.
Yeah, that'll be dope. Bet. So bit of a slow, like we said, first let's if you have a guess on who it would be, put it in the comments. Would love to just play around with some ideas, but bit of a slow news week because everything's been about Rihanna and her unborn child. So we had the idea of taking a flashback. It's been around 14 to 16 months since we had the whole Drake and Kanye fake beef, whatever. And we thought it'd be a cool idea to look back at those two albums they were dropping and see what held up, almost a year and a half later. At the time, I think you and I both agreed that we enjoyed listening through CLB more. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So a year and a half later, I have changed my opinion. Where do you stand and why?
A year and a half later, I still find myself repeating songs from CLB more.
Okay.
It's a very small handful of songs from there. I think only 2 songs I can think of from CLB that I've... So
I'll plug it up right now. Which ones were your like standout songs?
No Friends in the Industry and Fair Trade are the top 2 I probably replayed, followed by I Miss You Too.
I Miss You Too is my favorite song on the whole album, bro.
So
and mind you, this album had 21 songs, an hour and a half worth of content.
Donda, there's a couple replays that I have on there. I just haven't found myself revisiting them as much. But if I'm thinking from like an objective macro level, I think Donda from a legacy standpoint won that battle. I don't think anyone, even to this day, has very much respect for CLB in relation to the rest of Drake's catalog. And if anything, her loss has been the topic of conversation still, and probably will be for infinitely longer than CLB. So I feel like Donda has the edge at this point.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree. For me, and also just more context, sorry. Donda is 27 songs, an hour and 50 minutes worth of content. So 20 minutes more of songs. Mind you, he does have 4 versions of the same songs essentially on the album. So it may end up being the same. I think for me personally, man, I think it was more so after 3 or 4 months of listening to CLB. Because again, I was a heavy CLB, the song with Lil Baby, Girls Like Girls or whatever, the song with Way Too Sexy. I thought it was a fun song to listen to at the gym. Again, I love I Miss You Too with Kid Cudi. Just finally get that collaboration that we the sophomore in me from college was bro, I've been waiting for this for 15 years. So that moment in itself was great. But as I gotten older, man, I really enjoyed listening to albums in their entirety to understand what story you're trying to tell here. That story really gets lost in Certified Lover Boy. It just feels bro, 21 songs that he just threw together because he's fuck, dude, I have momentum right now. They're comparing me to him. Let's drop this and keep it going. So again, I think it was, hindsight always 2020. I think it was very convenient for him to say that, that was part 1 of this trilogy that he was doing. I don't believe that. I think that was just more so of a way to cover up what was essentially a failure of a body of work to his standards, right? Whereas with Donda, bro, that really grew on me, even though I do feel some parts of that album are incomplete. I think just Ye being Ye and overcomplicating things at times. But bro, I understood the story, the messaging there. And I listened to that shit 1 through 23 or whatever. I'm enjoying the sound progression on every song. And then when he gets to like Praise God or other songs like To the Moon, you're like, bro, these are like timeless fucking sounds that, like always, I think to the post that we made on Audio Theory TikTok, like academics made, like music always ends up shifting after a Kanye album towards something, bro. And I think there was more things on Donda that we're hearing now in other people's music since than CLB. Like CLB was, no one took CLB and like that inspired them to come up with something new. They're like, yeah, that's just Drake being Drake. And if anything, it was probably mid Drake, but it's still a Drake album. I'm happy to have like content from him. So yeah, I would just say that for me personally, like a year and a half in, I would say it's Donda won that. And like, it's not even close kind of a thing.
Yeah, 1,000% agree. It's a shame that Kanye kind of fell off the face of the earth after the recent controversies and stuff like that, because I think we need him in this industry, because he's one of the few people that's like pioneering the sound. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere outside of music, but I feel like it's gonna be harder to even publicly endorse what he's doing.
Yeah, dude, even like when people come up like on different meme pages, come up with like a funny meme and it's like his face, I'm like, I can't repost that though.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's like you're reposting the Nazi symbol at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, which is crazy, bro. Yeah. Like crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he definitely won that battle if we're looking back at it from.
Do we think the Donda 2 not really coming out, but coming out had anything to play with that as well? Like, you know, I don't like made us like enjoy Donda 1 more because no one really ever heard Donda 2?
I'd say so. I still haven't even really heard Donda 2 in its entirety. I think just generally speaking, the concept itself is like just so much more meaningful than Certified Lover Boy. I think Drake kind of almost set himself up for failure. It's like we have this one album about just like, I don't know, toxic relationship stuff or whatever, and then Kanye making an ode or whatever to his mother, and then doing a great job with it, and then having like a physical like live experience of his childhood home and shit.
Really like, does take it over the edge though. Like if we think about it, like that was probably, bro, like yeah, like that was a game changer. Again, I know the marketing of Drake's like posters were fire, but Drake was like fire merch, and then literally Kanye is living in a fucking stadium putting on a crazy performance in like 3 different so in the moment it was crazy, but yeah, like in hindsight, like it's not even close, like the level of like work they were doing to really showcase you what kind of content they were putting out at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's tough. Yeah, I really think, I agree with you, man. I think we need Kanye, bro. Like but to your point about like, what's it going to take for him to be a Super Bowl? I think the same thing with music, bro. Like, I don't think if he comes out with a hit, like 2 or 3 songs, like that's going to be enough. Like, I think it's going to need either an apology or someone who like the masses fuck with, and not just like one of Kanye's Jewish friends saying, we forgive him. Like, it can't be just Seth Rogen saying, we like him. It's like, nah, bro, we need someone way bigger than you, bro. Like,
it's got to be, I don't even know like what the religious term would be, but like the master rabbi of like who's living out in Israel or something. Like, it's got to be someone up there.
Correct. Because like, I think too much damage was done. So yeah, we'll see, man. But again, I think that was a needed conversation because in the moment, I feel like we did like CLB Donda for like almost like 3 episodes straight to give ourselves time to like weather it. And even like on week 3, we were still like, no, it's definitely CLB. Like, it's not even fucking close. But I think over time we're like, nah, man. Again, but I think it's more to your point, like Kanye, is just at times ahead of his time. So it's hard to even truly understand what's happening, even though you dedicate 3 weeks to fucking listen to it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. So that's all I had as far as topic wise. But as always, give you some heat of the week. What are a song that stood out to you since we last caught up?
So this song is, I think it's several months old, maybe even longer, but it's by NLE Choppa, who I musically am not super familiar with, but he has a song called Do It Again featuring Too Rare. and it's different from his normal catalog from what I've heard, but it has a Jersey club beat. And for those who aren't aware, it kind of sounds like drill, like super fast-paced drum tempo. Honestly, the sample in the song for the beat is amazing. He flows flawlessly on the beat, and it's a super feel-good song. If you watch the music video, he's just having fun. He's at like a cookout and a bunch of people dancing and everything. Just a really feel-good vibe.
Nice.
Something you could put on at a party that doesn't have murder, kill all over it.
Because I think he's trying to get away from that kind of music, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like went through some spiritual phase. I think like at the time it was kind of a gimmick, but he definitely, I think, is on a positive path where he's staying away from, that kind of negative music.
Nice. Send me that. I'll definitely add it. I want to hear it, and I'll definitely add it to the playlist, dude. That's a good one. Obviously, besides Blair Anthony Reload, which will be added to the Audio Theory playlist on both ends. Dude, for me, and it's going to be, I was thinking a really like old school vibe. I think because when like Lewis, my father figure who passed away, like, he really put me on to a lot of shit growing up. And like an album that me and him bumped a lot growing up was the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Ooh, so I was playing that while I was classic, bro. Like, bangers. I was playing this shit while I was barbecuing on Sunday, and for me, man, there's so many, but I'm gonna say the takeaway was X Factor. It was song number 3 on the album. Dude, it could have been any song on the album, but I feel like X Factor, it's a beautiful song. A woman who's completely in control of her flow, a rapper, a singer. That, again, the production was also flawless, man. So if you haven't listened to this album, you're crazy. So please go check out the album. But if you want specifics on that stands out, X Factor was the one for me.
Amazing choice. Yeah, that was I think my mom's probably played that album like a billion times at this point. How old were we when it came out? We were like 10?
I was 9 going on 10, correct. Okay, I was. So I'm a year older than you.
Or something.
Yeah. So like I just got back from living in Dominican Republic. Me and Lewis formed our relationship, and then he was like, bro, like, you gotta listen to this artist. And I was like, bro, girls can't rap. You know what I mean? And then he's like, no, dude, trust me, she's also singing. And like, I was just like blown away. And then, dude, I think she also won like fucking like 7 Grammys off this one album. So yeah, that was crazy. And that's why I think even like Kanye brought up multiple times, like, bro, like how are you gonna leave? Like, how are you gonna drop this classic and then never do anything ever again? But yeah, the Miseducation is great. I actually added the Can't Take My Eyes Off You to like the wedding playlist, bro. Cause I'm like, oh fuck, that's like from 98. Like for some reason that song just feels so timeless that it may have dropped like 10 years ago or something. Yeah. So but yeah, definitely Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Go peep that, and go peep Blair Reloaded, and also NLE Chopper. What's on again?
Do It Again.
Do It Again. There you go.
Yep.
Awesome. I do would appreciate as always. Episode 131, the books. Let the people know where they can peep us. What we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Check us out at audio-theory.com. New episode every week. Streaming on all platforms. We also have the Spotify and Apple Music playlist, so please check that out. We got the merch. If you're on YouTube, check near the description box, cop a hoodie or shirt or sticker, whatever else. And outside of that, I believe we're still, in the works of getting another interview or collaboration going of some sort. But regardless, we're pumping out good content as much as possible. So keep us on TikTok as well, because we got a lot of short form stuff there for you guys to
a lot of short form stuff
sharing. Yep.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy, man. We can talk offline about that part, but it's always like, dude, it's so weird when we post something and I'm like, oh, this one's gonna kill it, and I'm like, bro, what? Like, 116 views? Like, are you fucking kidding me? So
yeah, it makes no sense to me. Like, even for my own music, like I posted 100 times. I followed that one method you suggested, and nothing, not even a comment. But then we'll post, I don't know, it'll be some like random ass off week topic, and then we'll get fucking 50 comments.
Yo, it doesn't make sense, bro. And I know there's people out here who truly have this algorithm down to like literally a science, but I'm like, bro, but again, when in doubt, just keep pumping out content. That's so again, you're gonna get plenty from us for months, if not years to come. So,
yeah.
all right, dude. Great to talk to you as always. Love you. Talk
Love
soon.
You too.
Peace.